Ahoy, Let's Watchers, it's me, your valiant Captain Vasco, and welcome back one final time to the ruins here in Skylanders, Spyro's Adventure. Now, we're going to try and get a bunch of things done today, and among them, between the two episodes, and by the two I mean the one before this and this episode, I spent a lot of time gathering treasure. I haven't, fought any new enemies to change my experience or anything. I just wanted to show off all of the upgrades before finishing off this game. It's gonna be one heck of a challenge, but I think between what I've got here and the last totem pole money grab doodad here in the ruins, I'll have enough to get all of the upgrades for all of my characters. So let's start breaking this thing down, huh? Start with the undead type. Didn't even pay attention to what the next type was. I'm so eager to blow this thing up. Next is air, and then life. Okay. So, our resident air Skylander, Guile, still rocking that sweet wizard's hat. We got life, then earth. So life is chic. And then earth is Garchomp. Then we got water and tech. So Jabba will take out the water. And then Bomberman will help us out with the tech aspect. Still liking the do-rag. Then we've got the magic type with Spyro. Finally, we got fire with our good old friend Phoenix Wright. Now, if you've been paying close attention to the money totals on all of my characters, basically everyone's got what they need, except for 3 characters. We have Jabu, who still needs, if I remember correctly, yes, this will definitely be enough money. So one of these jewel bags goes to him. One of them's going to go to Chic. I shall get that. Oh, picked up another 100 gem. Sure, that's fine. Wait a minute. Shouldn't I have more money than this? There we go. That's as much as she needs. Did I not get enough with you? Apparently not. This is troubling. I was pretty sure those bags were each worth 1,000 and that I would get at least 3 of them. Which means I'm probably gonna have to do just a little bit of grinding during the course of the level, make sure I get enough. But, it's not a huge deal, I suppose. Oh, hang on. Suddenly I jumped up to 4,000. Something's not quite right here. Math is not my friend today. But that should actually cover everything I need. Alright, so let's enjoy ourselves a montage over here at Persephone's before taking on this final level, shall we? I think we've earned it. Music, go! And that leaves us with Phoenix Wright, who has enough money to buy his last upgrade, the Flight of the Phoenix. However, I'm unable to buy it because, well, his soul gem is the soul gem of the last level of the game. Someone had to be last, and he's certainly not least, but he's gonna have to hang on in order for us to buy his upgrade. But now that I've spent so much time getting my team fully up to power, let's start this final level. I hope you guys are excited, because I'm pretty excited. So of course, to get this one going, I don't know why I took my character off the portal, because I will need a character as well, but I'll need to place my level figure for Dragon's Peak here on the portal, and we'll get yet another cutscene.
Greetings, young Portal Master. The dragons, most ancient and wondrous, need your help. Go with the Dragon Knight Flavius to the island of Skylos. Help him free his king from the clutches of the undead dragon Vathic and restore him to the throne. Quickly, sound the horn and Flavius will carry you into the skies and off to the Dragon's Peak.
Now, the thing I like about the dragon horn here as a way to enter this final level is that it's actually sort of relevant to the way the level works, but we'll talk more about that later. For now, let's get going. And there's no better candidate to start with than Phoenix Wright, as he's the figure who comes with the Dragon's Peak Adventure Pack. Doesn't this place look awesome? I love the level design here. In fact, there's only one thing about it I don't like. But that can wait just a moment as we figure out what the heck's going on and why they need our help.
Phew, that's a long flight, but I'd fly across the universe to help my king. My name is Flavius, and I serve the great King Ramses, the greatest leader Dragon's Peak has ever known. He ruled these lands for centuries, and while he did, everything was great. Peace, harmony, you name it. Until one horrible day when I convinced King Ramses to go flying with me. All I wanted to do was take him out. You know, let him stretch his wings. But when I did, that's when he came. King Ramses' horrible brother, Vathic. Oh, he is evil. A horrible dragon who always wanted to be king himself. And while Ramses was gone, Vathic sat on the dragon's throne. You see, that's where all the power is. He who sits on the dragon's throne becomes ruler of all Dragon's Peak. It's just the way things work.
It does not seem like a sound basis for a governing body.
And with the power of the dragon's throne, Vathic is now our king, and has cursed poor Ramses. And it's all my fault. Oh, brave Skylander, won't you help us? Be careful over here, my friend. I'm sure that evil Vathic's got some sneaky tricks up his sleeve.
Oh, don't you worry, Flavius. We've got this one in hand. As long as you'll lend us a hand when we need it. Alright, so, the first thing of interest in this level, check this out. This area is called the Skylands. And I think that's a really interesting point, because if I were to, like, wager a guess before ever playing this game what I thought the levels would look like, I would assume that they would all look like this. Because, I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but personally, I think that this level most reminds me, at least, of the old Spyro games. And I only played, like, Spyro 1 and 2, like, way back in the day. But this is sort of what things look... Oh no! There's a bad... Ah! He has perhaps the greatest, intro blurb of any enemy. The Boom Fiend. But man, are they a pain to deal with. They deal a huge amount of damage and are, like, nearly impossible to defeat before they blow up on you. So you gotta be really careful around these guys. Oh no, this is not a good character to be for this. Okay, apparently the teleportation saved me in that regard. Now, if they blow themselves up, you don't get any treasure or experience from them. But you also don't die. So, you know, do what you will. Choose the strategy that fits your style best, but, like, typically, as much as I like to get all the experience and treasure possible, I think you're better off just avoiding those guys. They're a real serious problem. Archean Hammer! He's just like another one of those guys who's got a perpetual shield up, but as long as you constantly attack him, he's really not that big a threat. Now we're gonna try and show off every single Skylander in this episode, because it's our last one, and I feel like that's appropriate. So let's tag out to Jabu Jabu, and we'll check out his sweet new gigantic anchor cannon thing. There's a lot of chompy-like enemies in this level. I think they might technically have a different name, but they're really just like a differently colored chompy. Hey! Ramsey's got better!
Oh, goodness. You've awoken me from an evil spell, great Skylander.
Oh, he knows who we are right away.
Flavius brought you here, didn't he? I should have known. He may not be the brightest fire burning, but he's very loyal. My villainous brother Vathek has seized the Dragon Throne and all the power in Dragon's Peak. But perhaps you can stop him? I don't have much to give you in return, great Skylander, but I promise you would have my eternal gratitude. I'm afraid Vathek's curse has made me far too weak to fly, but Flavius can take you where you need to go. Use the dragon horn to call him.
As I said before, those flutes are important.
But beware, my brother Vathek will have his evil minions and treacherous traps waiting for you. Go forth, brave Skylander. I must rest for now.
Look, Ramses, I have no problem helping you out, but considering that your entire kingdom rests on you sitting on that throne, I'm pretty sure you should have called fives. I mean, it's the only reasonable course of action for a king who has to sit all the time. I mean, you gotta get up eventually. How else are you gonna use the bathroom? Alright, so check this out. This is the main gimmick of this level. Whee! More flying! Oh, but it's not simply flying from point A to B. Not this time. This time we have to help navigate. So, this is interesting. I find this interesting and somewhat annoying that the first two flying sections in this level are considerably harder than all of the rest. But the things that you need to know are that you can basically go up, down, left, or right, there's a bunch of treasure, and that there's also occasionally air mines which you need to destroy by pressing your, like, main attack button. It has kind of a slow recharge time, so you'll want to mostly use it when you know there's a threat coming. The first time you play through, you're probably going to get hit a lot, but it's very difficult to actually, like, have your dragon get KO'd. Okay, good work, Jabu Jabu. You actually took him down without exploding. It's a pretty difficult task. Trust me. I'm sure at least once I'm going to have one of those guys blow up on me in this level. They're really, really hard to deal with. Let's see if the anchor cannon can do anything to him. Aha! Uh-huh. This thing looks super sweet, by the way. I've never tried this out before. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it looks cool enough. Oh no, there's another one. I forgot that there was another one, but I got all of them. So that's good. You're really gonna want to watch out for your like melee guys, your Garchomps and your Sheiks and whatnot, because the people who have to fight up close are in the most danger of getting blown up, because they only blow themselves up when they know they're right next to you. So here's our first collectible here, Story Scroll. Let's find out more about Dragon's Peak.
The Dragon King Ramses has his throne atop a giant rock spike known as Dragon's Peak. This place is special to dragons, because whichever one of them controls its very top becomes the new king. Some fear that Vathek, an undead dragon and the king's evil brother, may one day try to steal the throne.
Man, why's the king always gotta have an evil brother? I feel like we need some social services people to look in on this stuff. Alright, we've tried out the giant anchor. So, what else can we try out? How about a whole bunch of explosives of our own? Maybe those will help us deal with all the boom fiends around here. But, yeah, after we've taken care of all these guys, whether they've blown themselves up or we've blown them up, it opens a monster gate, which leads us to another flute, which leads us to the next section. Fly away! So yeah, as I was saying before, it's pretty difficult to, like, fail out of one of these sections. So far I haven't done it, and I've been hit by almost every mine in that first section on more than one occasion. The treasure here is cool and all, but, like, each one of these is worth 1 treasure point, so it's not that important for you to collect them all, really. It doesn't do a lot for you. And in my case, I just got all the treasure I needed. See, there you go. Got myself blown up again. Not too hard, and the sections go pretty quickly, so even if you don't like them, they're not that big a deal. About to meet another new enemy. Dragon-themed for the level, of course. Dragonettes. They're sort of like dragonflies, in the dragon/fly sense. Let's blow them up. So yes, the upgrade I got for Bomberman here, I believe the description says something like, throw 3 times as many sticks of dynamite. What it really does is causes all the sticks of dynamite you throw to explode into 3 sticks of dynamite. Oh no, leave me alone! Leave me alone! See, there we go, I got blown up on. I think it said 50 damage? It's not gonna, like, instantly kill you or anything, but there's a couple sections where you'll get swarmed by a number of those guys, and if you're not at a high health, you might get just surprise taken out, so you gotta be careful of those. Alright, we got ourselves the only elemental gate of the level, which will require the assistance of Guile. Now, Guile's power-up, it's kind of difficult to explain. There we go. I really do hate those air teleporters. They're just awful. And it's not... her new upgrade isn't going to do much for us here in the obstacle course, but, you know, can still show it off. So it does, in fact, require a couple of babies on the field. So what happens is I do my Sonic Shout at them, and then they're also doing a tiny baby version of the Sonic Shout, which means when they're attacking enemies, they do more damage. Is that not the cutest darn thing you've ever seen? The actual cutest thing in the world. There are a number of reasons why I like Sonic Boom, and, oh no, I screwed that up. Oh well. At least that gives me an excuse to go down here and break all these things for treasure, although I didn't get any just there. But yeah, there's a number of reasons why I'm a big fan of Guile, but I think one of my favorite things about her is I think it's called like resonant frequency or something. Just the ability to let all of her babies also use her other special attack. Wow, this does not usually give me this much trouble. You're supposed to bounce on top of that block and then walk off to the left there. For some reason I've managed to screw up the jump twice. Not that hard, making this look very hard, but then again, isn't that what you've come to expect from me at this point? I mean, we've been through quite a lot of this game together. Okay, do I do it? Okay, technically, just barely. You gotta throw the bomb up there past the flames. Also want to step on this button. Now, these dragon statues that breathe fire will come up a couple of times during the level, and you're gonna have to like wait for them to stop breathing fire. I know it's frustrating to be like forced to wait, but I've tried myself, and you can't, even if you're willing to take the damage, you can't just like run through them and get to the other side. What happens is you'll just keep running into the fire and taking more damage. Oh. I think this is partially because the fire pushes you back, and partially because you just can't walk through the fire. But either way, you're just gonna have to be patient. But it's something you might want to know ahead of time, in case, like me, you're occasionally inclined to just be like, oh, bother, let's just run through it. Here we have the Winged Hat. This allegedly gives you the greatest speed boost of any hat in the game. However, I think this wizard hat looks sweet, so we're gonna keep wearing it, because Guile's already fast enough. Oh, no! Wow, look at that. Look at how much fun we didn't have just there. See, that's a perfect demonstration of the thing I was talking about. Let's switch to Spyro. This is a dragon-themed level. Could use some more dragon action. Yeah, but I don't take any responsibility for getting completely destroyed just there, because I didn't really have any way of knowing that the fire was going to start the split second I walked into its range. That was just sort of an unfortunate coincidence that backfired on me. Of course, we'll want to start moving right away once we get back, or else the wonky air teleporter will try to send us back and waste some of our time. Now that we've cleared all these enemies and that the air gate there, apologies, we want to bounce up here, and the rest of the level is up on this bounce pad and beyond. However, we're going to want to collect the legendary treasure, which is hidden very well at that bounce pad off to the left on that ledge. So it's really easy to miss that, so definitely pay attention. Be sure to get that one. Really easy to miss. So, here's another Flute of Summoning Dragon, and this will take us to a sort of bonus area. And anytime there's a flute that's leading you to or from a bonus area, it's really just going to be a chain of treasure leading you. You don't need to blow up any air mines. You can just sort of stay still. You don't have to, like, veer to any direction.
In fact, I often flying the only way to fly.
And there you go. Easy as pie. Or cake, or cheese, or pretzels, or any of those things you can eat in this game. Ah, chompies! Let's show off my new move. Oh, I killed all the chompies because they're really easy to kill. Any other enemies here? No, there's gonna be enemies. Oh, right, the other gimmick of this level. Now, this one's a lot more annoying. There's these rotating platforms that have bounce pads on one side and deadly spikes on the other. You kind of have to time your jump just right so that you land on the correct side. However, the camera's very uncooperative and will often lead you to just jump blindly into the spikes and take a bunch of damage. Not so cool. But it only comes up 2 or 3 times in the whole level, so again, not a huge deal, but definitely kind of annoying. So we pick up the legendary treasure, the Archaic Codex. Not particularly clever or anything, but at least it has more effort to it than Snow Globe, or Flamingo. Alright, let's head back and show off our skills. Of course, first we'll have to gather yet another chain of treasure. What hardship. Free treasure without any effort. Right, I suppose this is a fine time to mention. I said that I picked up a bunch of treasure between the episodes, and I managed to do it without really gaining any experience. The trick I used to do that was to keep visiting the second level of the game. I think it's called Perilous Pastures. There's a tech gate right at the start of the level that's just got a bunch of treasure and, like, mostly only chompies in it, so you're not in any danger of being attacked by enemies even if you don't fight them. Plus, you get a bunch of treasure, like a couple hundred every time you go through. That's interesting. One of those dragonfly guys down there definitely, like, broke a pot or something. I was not aware that they could do that. Alright, let's use our special move. We just got this one. Now, if you use the secondary attack button, the one that normally makes Spyro dash while he's flying, he does, like, this little ground pound thing, which does a fair amount of damage. It's very tricky to aim, but fairly powerful, so it's a reasonable trade-off. Let's see, Spyro's managed to pick up a bunch of treasure. Not that treasure really matters at this point, since all the Skylanders on my team have been fully upgraded, except Phoenix Wright, who unfortunately can't for the moment. But speaking of him, this is technically his level. Why don't we show him off a little bit more? Now, I'm sure I'll show it off later at the end of the episode once I've picked it up, but the Flight of the Phoenix ability allegedly creates an explosion at the end of his, like, fire dash attack thing. Not exactly sure how easy that is to work, or how much damage it does, but it sounds pretty cool. Plus, I do like the flame dash thing. One of the biggest problems I have with the air mines in these sections is that they're very difficult to spot because your dragon is, like, right in the middle of the screen, and so he basically blocks wherever the air mines will be at any time. So you kind of have to go through this a couple times to really know when to fire, or you can sort of just keep mashing the fire button. But either way, like I've said, it's fairly difficult to fail these sections. I'm not sure it's actually even possible, but, you know, it's not that big a deal. If you get a little bit lucky just spamming the A button, you'll do it. So as I was saying at the start of the level, this is basically what I thought the Skylands were going to look like, is sort of like the previous Spyro games, especially because it's called Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not exactly disappointed with the art direction as things turned out. Like, levels in Skylanders look pretty cool, but I have to say I would have preferred it if they were similar to the Spyro games, especially since they're going to bother naming the game after Spyro. And really the only thing that makes this Spyro's Adventure is the fact that in order to have this game, you need to have some version of Spyro. Either regular Spyro that comes with all the console versions, or Dark Spyro who came with the 3DS version. Every copy of the game included one Spyro figure. So that's really the only thing that made this Spyro's Adventure. And since I like Spyro as a character, I kind of wish there was more to it than that, but, you know, like I said, not exactly disappointed with things, just kind of would have liked it, personally. So here's the second of these slowly, gradually flipping spike trap bounce pad rock things. Alright, so we got ourselves a branching path here. This one's gonna take us to something important, but we can't take it right away if we want to get everything all in one go, which, as I've mentioned in the past, I much prefer to trying to do a level 2 times for no particular reason. So I'm going to show you a way that I found, which lets you circumvent the fact that you're probably not supposed to be able to get all the collectibles in one run, but you totally can if you follow my suggestion. Okay, so we got more bomb guys coming at us. So I think I'm going to try out some burrowing action and see how that works out. Wow, I jumped at exactly the wrong time. Wow, they are really quick on the trigger. I guess if I'm ever above ground, they will instantly blow up on me. Or maybe it's just because I had already done them some damage. In any case, that kind of stunk. And it was mostly my fault. Alright, more treasure I don't need, but I'm still going to collect it, because why not? I'm going to use these characters in the future, so I'm sure they'll have future use for it. Speaking of which, treasure chest hiding up here on this cliff. So once you've taken care of all those boom fiends, you can jump your way back up here and pick up some treasure for yourself, in case you haven't upgraded all your characters yet. Now, I haven't fully decided on the team that I'm planning on taking into Giants, but at this point I'm pretty sure there's going to be some... Well, I'm definitely sure there will be some overlap between this game and the next. I'm just not sure how much. I think between new characters I'm buying and the Giants, which obviously can't play in this game, I'm probably going to have something like 8 new characters total, at least. So I'll probably have, you know, 3 or 4 characters returning from this, or possibly my B team that I was playing through this game, which I showed off in those bonus videos, which you can find in the playlist for this series. Now, here's another one of those dragon flutes. This also takes you to the next level, or the next section of the level. But you're not going to want to take that. You're going to want to backtrack all the way back to that branching path. Ugh, I need to burrow. I am too slow on foot. Alright, so here's... Alright, that seems to be the most efficient way to get back here. So now, once you've gotten the treasure chest, you're free to come back here and blow this dragon horn. Sweet, I get to be the captain of a flying dragon? That's basically a dream come true. Right, I didn't mention, the new ability I got for Garchomp is his Soul Gem power, which, it's not actually that exciting, but I think it's pretty cool, is that while he's underground he can pick up items using that ability, so he doesn't have to surface to pick up treasure or healing items or anything like that. It's pretty cool, but kind of hard to show off. Very, like, cerebral type ability. Alright, who's up next? I haven't really shown off Sheik much. Let's play with her for a while. Check it out, we got ourselves some dragonflies. I deliberately took some damage there to show off something. The new ability I got for Sheik, in case you couldn't tell by the occasional hearts popping up, is a constant regeneration shield. So, like, over time she will gradually just keep healing 5 hit points. It's pretty cool. It means you don't really need items to heal yourself, which I think is a nice touch. And here's the soul gem for Phoenix Wright. That's what we've been waiting for all along. So now when we get back to the ruins, we'll be able to get the last upgrade for my A-team. Now that we've done all that, we've got yet another dragon flute for us. And I believe, I haven't actually tested this in a while, but I believe that this flute and the one at the end of the other path from the two branching pathways will lead us to the same spot in the level. But if you go straight for the soul gem, then you won't be able to go back and get the treasure chest. And if you go past the treasure chest and take the other flute, then you skip the soul gem. So you kind of have to do it in the weird, convoluted path that I just demonstrated in order to get everything all in one go.
Skylanders of the fire element.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the regeneration power-up. That seems pretty cool. And I think it will be useful, given that this gauntlet coming up is very tricky and can cause a lot of damage, like, very quickly. Like, remember that thing that happened to Guile earlier? Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of those, like, flaming breath dragon heads up ahead. And they're all capable of doing that same amount of damage very quickly. So you're going to want to be careful. Obviously, like I said before, you got to wait for them to turn off. And then we got ourselves... Oh no! See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not even sure how I just got caught in the fire there, but I did. But luckily I got the regeneration going on, so that should heal me up over time. It's not the quickest thing in the world, but you don't need to find any healing items, so that's nice. Those dragonflies aren't quite as resilient as I remember them being. Well, maybe that's just because I have so many blades on my side. Alright, now that we've got a comfortable cushion of health to deal with the upcoming... This section can be very tricky. Once or twice I've had a Skylander just get completely KO'd from fully healed here. So you're going to want to jump up on the... close to the far side. And then you're going to want to try and stick as far... You're going to be bouncing to the left here. But you're going to want to stay as far right as you can manage, because you want to just avoid, like, getting into the center of that platform. If you land straight in the center of that platform while the fire breathing's going on, your Skylander's totally going to get knocked out. No two ways about it. Ah, it wasn't quite far enough. So now we're bouncing far ahead, so we're going to want to bounce as late as possible. So, like, here? There we go.
So, that old fool Ramses sent you, did he? You've come to take the dragon throne from me, have you? Well, it's mine. Do you hear me? Stay away. These minions are loyal to the throne. They will punish you for your treachery.
Well, that sounds fairly intimidating. So now that we're reaching the peak of Dragon's Peak, we're gonna be faced with a bunch of enemies charging in at us all at once. So that's something to be cautious of. Now, of course, keen-eyed viewers will notice that I haven't showed off any of the magical items that come with this level. The first one, unfortunately I don't find this very useful in most situations, but the winged boots are fairly interesting. You can use them to go very, very, very fast. Not just fast, very fast. In a way, I think this functions just as, like, the exact opposite of the Time Twister, in that instead of making all of the enemies go slower, you go crazy, crazy fast and they're all going normal speed. Like, it makes your attacks faster as well.
Those minions are such weaklings. But you can't keep defeating them forever. A few more should do the job.
When have a few minions ever done the job? Isn't that the whole point behind henchmen being effectively useless? Alright, so now that we've got the boots all used up, we've got to make our way up to the top there, and I think I'm going to try something out this time. But I'm also reasonably confident that I'm going to make a mess of this. Let's see, though. Oh, almost forgot. First things first, Gotta bounce. Isn't it on this side? Thought it was supposed to be. Ah, there it is, hiding back in the shadows. Yeah, I think I actually missed this one the first time around, too. It's fairly tricky to spot, but here's another treasure chest for us. There we go, we got all the chests found. And, if I'm not mistaken, the only thing we're missing here is one more hat. And I'm fairly certain I've gotten everything else. But the last hat, even though we appear to be at the end of the level... Oh, hang on. Can we bounce? Bounce with me? Bounce with me? It didn't quite work out. Yeah, getting the timing on this is fairly tricky. If the camera would only focus just slightly, like, higher up, this wouldn't be such a problem. Alright, but, here is the last hat of the game. The Royal Crown. Adds 10 to your critical hit, which I'm not a big fan of, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this pirate hat, because obviously the pirate hat is the best of the hats. Well, that's interesting. Did it stop spinning? Nope, it did not stop spinning. Oh, that's a problem. Okay, making a mess of this. I'd forgotten the second platform even spun, because every time I was up there, it seemed to have the bounce side up. I guess that's just because they're, like, in sync.
Curses! I'll summon all the minions.
Ooh, all of the minions will be more of a problem.
All of them.
Hopefully he's wrong about that, but I'm gonna be honest, this first wave of enemies here is extremely difficult. So what I like to do, or what I think will work, we're gonna try this out for the first time on camera. Gonna play the Dragon's Peak figure, gonna burrow my way underground, and try and lure out all the enemies. There we go. Alright.
These minions are worthless. I'll do it myself.
Oh wow, did I kill everyone all at once? That was not intentional. Pretty sure I just, like, sequence broke that a little bit.
Ha! I've taken the throne, Vathic, and as you know by dragon law, that means you no longer rule Dragon's Peak. You are completely powerless.
Do dragons have dragon lawyers for their dragon laws?
No, I can't believe I fell for the oldest trick in the book.
Now you'll pay for betraying Ramses.
So is petrification the only thing that throne really does? Dragons seem to have a really harsh system of punishments.
Ah, so good to be home again. Well done, Flavius. Now, sadly, what to do with my own brother? I suppose I will have to banish him.
I don't know. He makes a pretty good statue.
Perhaps you're right. But I am curious. You could have kept the throne for yourself, and yet you did not. Why?
Because, great Ramses, there is only one true king of Dragon's Peak, and it is you. The throne will be yours until the day you decide you are done with it.
Well, when I do, loyal Flavius, I know exactly who will take my place. And of course, I must thank our Skylander friend most of all.
Sup?
Without your bravery and heroism, none of this would have been possible. Flavius will fly you back to the ruins. Farewell, friend.
Alright, well, I'm pretty sure that I glitched the end of that level. Because what's supposed to happen there is, you know, those Archean Hammer guys come up and they try to attack you, and then, like, as they're rushing you, a wave of Boom Fiends come in, and, like, they can, like, rush you and deal, like, several hundred damage all at once. They're really scary in a swarm like that. And then after that, there's just, like, a bunch of, like, chompies and those, like, dragonfly guys. So I was gonna use Spyro with the last magical item to fight them, because it seems really appropriate. And I'll show why in the ruins in a minute, but I'm pretty sure that I really glitched the level. I mean, you could even see in the cutscene at the end that a bunch of, like, Archean Hammer guys were, like, rendered there, as if there were still enemies there. and you're supposed to beat everyone before you get that final cutscene, but okay, we did it! Hooray! We saved the last of the people who wanted our help in the adventure packs. And since chaos has already been dealt with, that means that the Skylands are really pretty much safe and happy now. That's really exciting. Let's savor our victory back at home, or our home away from home, the ruins. Alright, welcome back to the ruins. We're here with Spyro. So as I said, I had intended to show this off in the last fight there. I didn't expect for the Dragon's Peak to completely annihilate everything.
A flying friend with some interesting firepower.
But basically we have Sparks the Dragonfly, who is a character from previous Spyro games. And what his effect is, can't really show it off here because there's no enemies, but he'll attack nearby enemies, and when they get killed, they turn into butterflies, which you can eat to regain some health. Just kind of weird, but I'm pretty sure that's basically how that worked back in Spyro as well. Or, you know, the original Spyro games. So I wanted to end off with that. It seemed like a nice touch, but unfortunately didn't pan out because instead I managed to capture something really weird on camera, which is also kind of fun in its own right. But, yeah, we've got one last order of business to take care of before we sign off for this game. Gotta buy the last upgrade for our last character. Thanks for all your help, Phoenix Wright. Your reward is to be even more of a flaming Phoenix Dragon Bird. So I'm excited to see how this works, because I don't know. Okay. I actually really like that. I thought it was going to be like some big explosion that like took a bunch of time, but all it means is like when you stop doing your dash, there's like an explosion that sort of like wards off enemies when they get close. That's really cool. I like that a lot, actually. Alright, so let's have a few closing words about this game. I think it's a lot of fun. I really like the idea they came up with the figures and the interactivity between the toy and the game and all that stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Level design's a little bit simple and the game mechanics are, well, borderline broken at times, but, you know, they can be fun even when they're fairly simplistic. And I think this is a great game and series, and I'm really looking forward to Giants and the recently announced, in fact, Swap Force game. That one in particular seems exciting to me. Has anyone seen Washbuckler? Spoiler alert, guy's awesome. But in any case, I feel like I've spoken most of my piece between the credits after the Layer of Chaos and just playing through the game about what I think about specific aspects of the game. And I've had a lot of fun playing it, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching the series. It seems fairly popular, and I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad you guys are having fun. And there's something, I was poking around in the ruins trying to figure out if there were any other, like, interesting, interactive things that I had missed out on, like getting the gold from the general and stuff like that. And there is something interesting I found that I think will be a reasonable send-off to the game. You know, a nice way to say goodbye to the ruins and the place we've spent so many months here together. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave me any suggestions for how to take on Skylanders Giants, which I will be recording as soon as I've gotten my hands on it and played through it and learned how everything works. I'll be demonstrating everything in the same fashion I have with Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. So thank you for joining me here. Hopefully you'll join me for that. And I hope you guys have had a good time and are looking forward to the future. I know I am. Even though I'm sad to see this game go, there's plenty of more fun in the future. See you then, guys.
You want to take a balloon ride with Skyland's greatest pilot? Of course, that'd be me. Off we go into the wild blue yonder. Hey, what's a yonder anyway? Pretty thrilling, isn't it? I mean, for you to be flying with me, if you start to feel airsick, just be sure to point away from me. Look at that boat down there. Who still uses boats? Airships are the only way to go, my friend. Not only is balloon travel a great way to get where you're going, but I've also found it to be a big hit with the ladies, too. Boom! That's the chain of fortitude. Without it, this island would float to another... I don't know. Let's get back to talking about me. I still don't know what that thing is down there. Apparently, it was left behind by some ancient civilization. I wonder what their ladies were like. I like to keep the ladies guessing. Once they know you're available, it's work, work, work all the time. Boom! Sure, I like Callie okay, but I gotta keep the lines open for all the ladies. Of course, don't tell her I said that. Train tracks, another less than stellar means of transportation. The train, I mean, not necessarily the tracks. Well, the train goes on the tracks, of course, and that... Well, you get what I'm saying here, right? And over there is the Great Bridge. It's almost as great as me. Well, you see how those islands float? They're called the, floating islands. Clever, don't you think? You go. Yeah, he's nice and all that, but not much of an air guy, if you know what I mean. Callie. Quite a gal she is. No, not that I'm that into her, you understand. Of course, there's your core of light. And everybody makes such a big deal out of it. Not like I'm jealous or anything. Thank you for flying Air Me. I realize you had no choice in your air travel accommodations today, but you still did well by flying with the very best. Me.